What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys having a wonderful day. Asian Americans are completely different than Asians in Asia. And one of the main reasons why is because of the fact that we grew up in two different cultures, right? Underneath the culture that our parents had brought over from Asia. So there's this like sense of you can say there's a misalignment with an identity, and also a a a misconnection within our parents' culture because of the amount of time we have spent in living in America. let me uh let me elaborate with my experience. So it took me 26 years to figure out and realize and experience what it truly means to live in Asia or Southeast Asia, right? I don't know about China, Japan, Korea. I'm talking about Southeast Asia. I don't know about the Philippines. I'm talking about Southeast Asia. And the number one thing that I've realized is that I have been trained and indoctrinated into becoming an individualistic person with my own self beliefs and personality. In Southeast Asia, their culture is surrounded amongst family structure, or as what, I've been told, the collective. The collective is the family system of what how they operate as a family in Asia. Due to financial economic reasons, family, social life is more valuable and important than here in America. Even though if you combine them together here in America, because I've seen this with other cultures, especially the Hispanic crowd, you will literally create an unstoppable empire that probably will not end, and there would be generation on generation on your bloodline. And it irritates me of the fact that me myself, the black sheep of my family, has the enough awareness to understand this. But unfortunately, of what I was saying before, if you grew up in an Asian household, emotional stability was very scarce and what wasn't as common. So you go to outside sources to try to fit in or try to be with another group slash culture. And there's always this clash between like Asian Americans and Asian people who grew up in Asia. And the only people who would understand where you come from are the other Asian Americans. But the crazy part is that Asian Americans have also adapted the self-loathing, competitive, performative trait that a lot of people in Asia have um, accustomed to when it comes to looking for a career, looking for a job, looking for placement in schools. Like, bro, if you look into the school system in China of how long they study and how long they go to school, you would soon realize why they are one of the top performing cultures and ethic and yeah, cultures when it comes to education. Like just look at the academic teams of most US states. 9 times out of 10, if they're in a championship, if they win a championship, you'll see a Chinese or a Indian person in that group. But I digress. Asian people don't understand what does it mean to be an individual because their rights have already been stripped. So all they can do is just live as a tribe, a collective, to keep the peace. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that me growing up, I realized that most of my siblings and my cousins, they're in their 20s trying to catch up while I'm in my mid 20s uh realizing that there is no catch up. The only thing you have to catch up with here in America is literally your finances and your mental and physical health. If you don't get either of those three down, you're kind of like, you're just screwed because the system doesn't care if you're lazy. The system doesn't care if you're having a bad day. The system only wants productivity. And if you cannot multitask, you're just going to get washed up to the point where you're going to have this like deep in resentment and regret that you didn't do better. And now you're, slowly but surely coming to this like sense of depression, all because you chose to take one day off. But I didn't make up the rules. I'm just observing how they play out. If there's one thing for sure that I like about being an Asian American and talking with other Asian Americans is that we see and grew up with the collective culture, and we try to implement that within like our other Asian American friends, and it just it works, but it don't work because of the competitive self-loathing toxic trait that a lot of Asians have within themselves. And it's usually like money, women. Like it's just over petty things for the most part. But like I was saying with the Hispanics, most people will not agree with me about this, but the fact that Hispanics will literally have 10 people in a 3-4 bedroom apartment or house, and the men would work and the women would cook and clean and take care of the children. By the time it's the end of the year, they have already paid off the house. They've bought cars for everybody, and they have a house to, whoever wants to claim the house, whether it be, the grandchildren, the oldest son. I don't know how it works, but just think about how strong of a collective system they have. And just imagine if that same system was brought within here in America. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that because, like I mentioned before, what I've seen and witnessed is that everybody in my family that are Asian Americans, they're trying to play catch up. And the ones who came from that culture, they can't process the fact that here you can't have a day off. You have to be a productive person. And you have to be improving and learning every single day, whether you like it or not. But don't get me wrong, everybody has their limits. You should always take a break when you should take a break. And one of the toxic traits I carry is the fact that my body tells me to take a break, but my mind tells me I need to keep on going. Because if I don't stop, then my competition or my past self is going to catch up with me. Because at the end of the day, you're not competing with other people, you're competing with yourself. You have to be a new person at that new level. You're never the same person each time you move up in life, whether it be a career, a skill, or I don't know. It just depends on who you are as an individual. And the fact that they focus more on social and collectivism, I'm still trying to like understand how they see what a narcissistic person is. Like you could literally be a deadbeat drunk addict and they will forgive you if you were if you grew up in that culture. But here in America, if you're a deadbeat drunk and you're a homeless person, nobody cares about you. They make fun of you behind your back in the family system, right? And nobody really talks to you. Everybody's doing their own thing. They'll never tell you the truth because they're afraid of confrontation. They rather just keep the peace and let you do what you want to do, even though you're destroying yourself at the end of the day. And then here comes me who exposes the lies and tells the truth. Now I'm the bad guy. You see what I'm saying? Like it's so crazy and misconnected to the point where you have no other choice but to be a individual who is trying to break the curse. Excuse me. But overall, Asian Americans really do have an advantage when it comes to living in America. Like, who doesn't want to live in America? America is really is the greatest country in the world and has the nicest people, whether you believe me or not. Because when I was in Asia, Americans were the nicest people there. It was, yes, it was the locals too, but I think what it really was the fact that I wasn't a Caucasian male. Because something I've went down the rabbit hole was that when you're like a Caucasian male in Asia, you get more hate from your own people than you do with the locals. But I can't really speak on that. That's just something I learned, and I was like, oh wow, so things really don't change even if you're like 3,000 miles away in another country. But I don't know. I'm not a Caucasian white. All I'm saying is that when it comes to Asian Americans and Asians who came from Asia, there's always going to be this friction. And there's also this like social hierarchy when it comes to age or ageism. Ageism is what some people would say. No matter the age, I mean, no matter who you are as a person, you should always listen to the elders or the adults. And they have they own you, they control you. You have to listen to them no matter what. You have no individualistic mind. If you think outside of that social hierarchy, they see you as a delinquent, they see you as a fool, and they wish ill will upon who you are as a person, because they believe that, oh, you're trying to be a renegade now, you're trying to be a rebel. Oh, good luck out there trying to fight all these battles by yourself. But I didn't make up the rules. It's just what I see. But and in my eyes, I'm willing to do what I have to do at the end of the day, whether you're helping me pull this wagon or not. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later.